Hey everybody. On today's episode, we're going to talk about roasts, how we can stretch them out for a few days, and basically how to prep them. Now, why this? Well, a friend of mine contacted me and said, well, look, I can't have a big family gathering this year, obviously, and they want to know how to make something festive, but at the same time, how can they stretch it because they don't want to go out for groceries later. So I said, okay, do a small roast. Now in this episode, I'll also show you how to actually truss or tie up a roast so it cooks evenly, looks nice, easy to work with, and also a couple of ideas of what you can do with a roast after you're done roasting it. Let's go. So, how to truss. Loop, grab, through, and tighten. This is the method we're going to use. Now we're going to start off using a towel here because obviously you don't want to be using raw meat at room temperature over and over and over again when you practice. This is an easy way to do it. So we take a rope or string or anything that you have, you make a little noose, and you're going to tighten it up around the front of our piece of meat. Just like this. Boom. Next, I'm going to give myself enough string to make a loop around the front of my hand. Now watch the fingers. I open it up a little bit. Next, I'm going to grab the meat and pull it through the loop that I just made. Here we go, through the loop. And what we're going to do is we're going to move this loop behind the first loop that we made. Afterwards, you tighten, and then you repeat the process. So, stretch out the string like we did before, loop around our hand, and watch the index finger of my opposite hand. Notice how I hook it in? This is to help it stay open while I grab and pull back. Now, why do we truss in the first place? Well, there are lots of different cuts of meat that you can roast. You got shoulders, picnic hams, arm roast, Boston butt, loins. The goal here is to make sure that these irregularly shaped pieces of meat maintain a uniform shape at a uniform temperature, and this ensures even cooking throughout. Or you can just ask your butcher to do it, but this is a little extra, just so you know. So here we have a pork loin roast that's already been trussed up. I'm going to add half a teaspoon of my all-purpose rub. It's basically, you can find out the recipe in a previous episode. It's a very simple procedure. You just sprinkle it on there and you give it a little massage, both on the front and on the back. So I put another half teaspoon on the other side, rub it in there. And these herbal blends always enhance the flavor when the meat cooks. The fat roasts out and gives you a little extra flavor. Try it out, any kind of mix that you have. Next, we're going to add a little bit of salt to the meat. This enhances the flavor even more, and also, as a physical property, salt has a tendency to draw moisture away from things. So this will enhance the crispiness of the fat on the outside of this pork loin. Let's keep going. So we turned over the loin. We get a nice generous sprinkling of salt on there. Don't be too heavy-handed because too much salt's not good for you. Just enough to get the flavor and balance things out. Okay, once that's done, we're going to dock the meat or poke little holes into it. This just allows for the moisture to escape from within and helps baste the outside and crisp up the fat. So remember, little jabs. I decided to add some carrots to the roast. Now, roasting is just having hot air circulating around the meat. And this is why we have it in a roasting pan that's separated into two spots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the vegetables along with some liquid underneath. Now the liquid prevents the vegetables from being scorched to the pan, but it also has the added purpose of capturing the juices from the meat above into the liquid, which in turn will be absorbed into the vegetables. So all that piggy goodness above gets absorbed into the carrots below. Try it out. Potatoes, turnips, whatever you have on hand. So now we replace the rack on top of our vegetables and stock, and we preheat the oven at 350 degrees, and you put it in there for about 20 to 25 minutes per pound. So remember, weigh it out, preheat, put it in the oven. Simple as that. Once you're done, it should come out looking like this, but we'll let it rest for about 10 minutes just so it can reabsorb the juices. And what about those carrots? Well, perfectly caramelized, and they absorb a lot of that fatty goodness from above. Serve it with some sweet potatoes and peas, and you got a meal. But what about the leftovers? Well, you can slice it cold with some roasted peppers, put it on a sandwich. You could also heat up some vegetable stock, look around for other veggies like some zucchinis and tomatoes. You can have yourself a Provençal soup if you like. Now to assemble the soup, you just put all the things together in a bowl and you ladle in the hot stock over to the top. Very simple procedure. You can add a bit of shredded cheese if you like, serve it with a nice piece of bread, you have yourself a meal. And you've managed to get 2 or 3 meals out of one roast, and you don't have to go to the grocery store. And to top it off, a little splash of olive oil. So remember, you can be festive even when there are not a lot of people around. It's all going to work out. Share, like, and subscribe, and have a wonderful Christmas season. Take care, everybody.